Bihar verdict going to be a setback to the economy? Is it going to be a stumbling block for Dalal Street? Will it further ensure that business-oriented legislation is slowed down? Already we've seen the opposition making every intention clear to disrupt Parliament. So the question goes first to, and there's a broader concern, Sambit Patra, Dr. Santosh Mehrotra, welcome, Bejon Mishra with me in the studio, Mohammad Khan of the Congress and Prasenjit Bose. There's a broader issue as well, because several people say that one of the reasons the Bihar poll has been a big setback for the government is because the government forgot the people. The government forgot that it's not reforms on the basis of which you get votes. I'd like to start with Prasenjit on that. That eventually you get votes if you care about the people. If the price of dal goes up by 55 to 60 rupees, yes, from the time that the elections are announced till the last day of voting, then people are going to punish you, and punish they did. Prasenjit, let me start with you. How do you view the impact of the Bihar elections, and do you feel in the Bihar elections there is an overall lesson the BJP needs to learn in terms of the link between economic forces and the popular response to them? Prasenjit.
Absolutely, because I think that over the past 18 months, this government has completely, one is not clear what this government's economic agenda is. Whatever has happened despite the government. You have an international situation where global oil prices have come down, therefore fuel prices have come down in our country. But if you look at the domain of the government's domestic economic policy, what exactly this government is doing, one doesn't know. And you have a situation where pulses and certain vegetables, their prices have shot through the roof, which shows that the problems persistence of the problems confronting Indian agriculture and the food economy in India, for which the UPA government was voted out of power. So that means that this government has not addressed those issues so far. On the top of it, I think that the government is more busy in dressing up the economic statistics rather than doing anything substantive to revive the economy. So you have a situation where I don't think that
give an example, Prasenjit. Prasenjit, while you've been speaking, Sambit has raised his hand twice. Give him an example. Since you are throwing a fairly strong accusation at him, you are saying this government is window dressing economic facts, misrepresenting facts. Tell Sambit what you mean. Give him one specific example, otherwise, it won't make sense.
What I mean is something which a lot of people are talking about, Arnab. I don't think that I am the only person in this country who is accompanying GDP. You have the RBI governor, you have the chief economic advisor. Everybody has raised concerns regarding the quality of GDP growth figures that this government has peddled. And the fact is that your economic growth has to be accompanied by commensurate growth of credit, commensurate growth of tax revenues, and so many other indicators. So they are not showing up, and you have what investment is happening in this country, be it in the public investment or private investment. What investment is happening in this country? Without investment, you do not have economic growth. It is as simple as that.
Third time he raises his hand.
It has got less to do with...
Third time he raises his hand.
Fourth time, I have to open the mouth.
Fourth time he says he's going to open his mouth. Go ahead, Sambit Patra, please. I think we'll open up the debate now. Sambit, please.
See, number one, I concede that dal prices were high. Let me accept.
High? They're intolerably high.
They were high, and I should concede the fact. Secondly, to say that economic policies of this government were wrong and that's the reason as to why we lost Bihar is absolutely unfounded. Economics impacts the country uniformly. Had only economics been the factor, or had economics been the factor, then we would not have won Kerala the way we won. We would not have won the 5 states that we won. We would not have won as recently as about a month ago.
Rajasthan and
when did you win Kerala?
No, the percentage of votes, I mean to say, the kind of performance. I know you are from left, but Prasenjit, the kind of performance Bharatiya Janata Party,
talk about the economic facts.
Sir, I was not interjecting the inroads that Bharatiya Janata Party has made into Kerala. If the optics of economics would have been as bad as you are suggesting, then definitely we would not have constructed new roads of politics in Kerala. Number 3, As far as economics and the statistics of economics is concerned, let me remind you of the fact that the country has moved ahead of China in a small span of time. Let me remind you of the fact.
Are you being self-congratulatory? Say that to the people of Bihar.
I have to be. If there is a
say that to the people of Bihar.
If there is a propaganda to malign the government's economics, I have to be.
Who's maligning your economics?
I have to be self-congratulatory.
Who's maligning your economics? No, this self-congratulatory approach is what does you in some way.
Should I not keep the facts? If the country's growth rate has really improved compared to the last 10 years, should I not mention the facts, or should I shy away just because I should not appear to be self-congratulatory? Secondly, and very importantly,
the fact of the matter is that you can't. No, the fact of the matter is
Mr. Prasenjit Bose told right now that who is investing into India?
Yeah, who is
Mr. Prasenjit Bose, 40% increase in FDI is not that I cook up in my party office. It is something which comes from the government statistics.
All compared to the last year of a lame duck Congress government. If you want to consistently try and look good compared to a lame duck Congress government last 9 months.
We have to compare with the lame duck Congress government, or do you want us to compare with the lame duck Bengal government of the left for all these years?
I want you to
whichever way you compare us with, we are far ahead.
I want you to compare yourself to the RSS affiliates like the Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh, which does not even allow you to push through labor reforms. I want you to admit today that the people who are holding you back from even economic reforms is the RSS. I just don't know why this self-congratulatory approach continues. I agree with you. The economy should not be hostage to politics.
Did we not place the land bill on the floor of the parliament despite the fact?
What did you achieve?
Despite the fact
that
Swadeshi Jagran Manch was opposing to it.
And what did you achieve?
We were ready. We were ready for debate. We were ready for discussion. But which discussion?
Okay, make an admission tonight. Okay, make an admission tonight. Make an admission. The reason, my information is that the reason you pulled back on the land bill is because Mohan Bhagwat didn't like it. It's got nothing to do with the Congress party. Stop blaming the. No, you know the facts.
I'll answer that.
Sambit Patra, I'd say it tonight.
Very candidly,
say it tonight. You are held back by the RSS on the economic.
The reason we pulled back on the land bill was expressed by the Prime Minister in the Mann Ki Baat that we do not want कि किसान भ्रम में जिए, डर के जिए. We do not want even an iota of fear, even if that is perceptional fear in the mind of our farmers. No. We will solve that purpose and we'll see. And the biggest issue on land bill, I want to ask the Congress spokesperson over here. Why is it that the same Congress which was opposing the land bill consensus clause, now the Assam and the Karnataka government, which has a Congress government, they are planning to bring amendments to go around the consensus clause.
Ask the RSS. Ask the RSS.
No, ask the Congress first.
Ask the RSS.
No, RSS has the right to suggest.
Didn't give you the permission.
RSS has the right to suggest. Even the Congress has the right to suggest.
But your opposition is the RSS.
We should be debating.
Your opposition is the RSS.
Not at all.
Your opposition is not the Congress.
No,
your real economic opposition is the RSS.
Mazdoor Sangh or Swadeshi Jagran Manch, which you at one end say are our remote controls,
of course,
and at the other end you say that they are the opposition to us, means that either of the things are not right.
So what are you saying? And now, we are talking about this. We are talking about all of this in the backdrop of the Bihar elections. And there is genuine concern. By the way, Mohammad Khan, feel free to come into the debate. There is genuine concern out here that the economic agenda, Mohammad Khan, economic agenda of this country is now going to be put into the freezer.
Well, no.
Can you afford that?
No. Of course not.
No, that the economic agenda of this country is going to be put in the freezer. You've already decided you're going to stall the next.
I'll tell you from the very outset, we have taken our role as opposition very seriously. We're a very vigilant opposition. And I go to Sambitji's statement here about the land acquisition bill. Now, honestly, a little credit is also due to us. Here I would agree with Sambitji that thoda hame bhi zara iska wo credit dijiye. But the fact is that yes, the land acquisition bill was a bad law in our opinion and in the opinions of millions of farmers. When the committees were also constituted, the Swadeshi Jagran Manch gave their comments, which are available in the public domain, and you can see that those are also against the bill.
Of course.
Now, of course, I agree with Arnabji. I agree with Arnabji that there is, of course, a degree of control that the RSS exercises over you.
Mr. Khan,
and
I'm
now
ready
that
to give the credit to you. All credit goes out to you because it was the Congress chief ministers which wanted that the land bill should be amended. That the 2013 land bill should be amended was a design of the Congress chief ministers. They met Nitin Gadkari, the then minister, and they suggested that they want these changes. The government only accepted what the chief ministers of Congress had wanted.
The law in the way that you have tried to do. We have always stood for the fact that consensus is an essential pillar of before acquisition is carried out. But I believe this debate is not about acquisition.
So should I bring out out those
debate
letters of
is
Mr.
about
Prithviraj
introspection.
Chauhan? Should I
The
bring
fact
out
is-
those letters of your other chief ministers? We have
Mr.
umpteen number of
Patra,
time on the same
please,
news hour show
my
discuss
friend,
those
you can
letters
keep
also,
going back to
which were posted by the
2012 and
Maharashtra chief
2011,
minister,
but the
by
fact is
Mr.
that the bill
Hooda, the
was
Haryana
passed,
chief
it was
minister.
welcomed
But
by the people of
anyways,
India. The judiciary is
anyways, you
celebrating the
should.
law, and you were forced to
Mohammed
withdraw
Khan,
your amendments.
Mohammed Khan,
Yes,
I want to
Honorable.
congratulate you. Mohammed Khan, I want to congratulate you.
Thank you, Honorable.
Congratulations.
It's
You
a
did very
wonderful
well in Bihar. Okay, congratulations. You did well. Relative, everything is relative. Like in economics, you got 20 plus seats. It's relatively, it's very good. But why should people of this country suffer? Give me one reason why people of this country should suffer. No,
Honorable,
sorry. You see, the problem with Prasenjit also is that you can't have it both ways.
As
One
anybody
second.
else.
One second. Now listen to me.
Please go ahead.
Leave your ego. Leave your ego.
Yeah,
Leave your ego.
we need to-
Leave your ego. The GST is not about bringing down the prices of manufactured items. It benefits the common man.
Correct.
You tell me why the common man should suffer.
Honorable, we have been
Right?
very
Is that
clear.
not the issue? No, Professor Dr.
No,
Santosh Mehrotra.
I think what you are saying
you
is
tell
totally
me.
unfair.
On GST,
I'm sorry,
What
Arnav.
is unfair?
What you
What
are
is
saying,
unfair?
what
What is
you are
unfair,
saying is
Prasenjit?
totally unfair.
Why is it
No,
unfair?
I will tell you
Because-
what is unfair.
No,
Please hear me
I
out.
can tell you that. I
Please
can
hear
tell
me
you
out.
about the GST's
Please hear me
impact
out.
on prices. No, I can tell you. Why
No,
are you
please
so
hear
rigid,
me out.
Prasenjit?
Please hear me
Why
out.
are you so rigid, Prasenjit?
Can
Why are
you
you so
please
rigid,
hear me out
Prasenjit?
for 1 minute?
No, will you hear me out? I'll give you two reasons.
No, I'm
why
not
it drives the
rigid. You
common man.
please. No.
The
You
problem
please,
is that
can
you are very,
can you please allow me to speak for a
fixated
minute?
in your economic views. You're very fixated. You're fixed.
No.
you're fixed point of view, Prasenjit.
You please give me an opportunity to say one sentence. Did the BJP contest the Bihar elections on goods and services tax? They are the ones who are bringing issues like cow, like beef, who eats what meat. Is that what the country is supposed to debate?
That's done and
is
dusted,
that the
right?
debate which is going to take our country
that's done and
forward?
dusted, right?
Who is
That's done
responsible
and
for
dusted.
shifting the
That's
focus
done
of
and
the
dusted.
No,
That's
who
done
has
and
shifted
dusted.
the
The
focus
issues
of
over the
debate?
Bihar elections
Who
are
has
over. What do
shifted
you
the
want
focus
now?
of debate from
But the
economic
Bihar elections
development
are over.
to
For
all
God's
these
sake,
medievalist
Prasenjit.
issues?
No,
They are
see,
taking the
that's
country
exactly
back
the point of
1,000
the
years.
discussion. No, that's my
Who is
problem
responsible for
with you.
that?
No, that's
You
my
are blaming
problem
the
with you,
opposition
Prasenjit.
for that.
No, that's my problem with you, Prasenjit. That's my problem.
Who is
That's my
responsible
problem.
for that?
No, that's
Who
my
has
problem. You
deflected
decide.
attention
No, but
from
that's
bread
my
and butter
problem,
issues,
Prasenjit.
from
You
issues of
decide.
inflation,
Prasenjit,
from issues of
Prasenjit,
employment?
Prasenjit,
Who is deviating from the
Prasenjit,
agenda?
You listen to me, Prasenjit. Now you decide now, Prasenjit. Can I tell you one thing? You know what this discussion is about? What I'm saying to you is, I respect your intellectual depth. But I have problems with your intellectual prejudice sometimes, Prasenjit. You have to separate your politics from an economics, for God's sake.
What is the prejudice you're talking about?
I'll tell you if you allow me
What
to
is the
talk. You
prejudice
see, the
that you're
problem is,
talking about?
Prasenjit, that the moment I'm asking you a question, you see, realize one thing, for God's sake, Bihar elections are over. Forget the politics. Get
Yeah.
on with the economy, for God's sake. Professor Mehrotra has something to say to you. Will you listen to him, please?
Absolutely.
Because you don't listen to me at least. Listen to him at least. Professor Mehrotra, please, on that point.
Well,
Get over with the politics, please.
Absolutely
Professor.
right, Arnab, because if the intransigence of the opposition increases, it is going to hurt the common people, it is going to hurt the Congress itself, because the Congress should not be intransigent for the following reason. We know that negativity for 18 months, which has dominated their discourse, has rebounded on the Congress because they've lost 5 state elections. Let us remind ourselves of that, point one. And the BJP's negativity in Bihar has rebounded on the BJP in Bihar. So neither party should be overly negative and intransigent. The BJP's approach should be to be conciliatory in parliament, and
But that's not in their DNA. Being conciliatory is not in the DNA of the BJP.
Well, that's for Dr. Patra to answer. But
Is it in your political DNA to be conciliatory in parliament? Be honest about it.
If it was not in the DNA, why before each parliament session would the Prime Minister hold an all-party meeting? They have an all-party meeting, and in fact, Mr. Venkaiah Naidu in the last parliamentary session also went out to say that we are ready to accept everything, but for God's sake, come down and debate on the floor of the
What do you mean
parliament.
come down and debate?
No, they have to come to the floor of the parliament and debate. All of them were standing. All of them were standing with the black bands. With the black bands underneath the Gandhi statue. Underneath the Gandhi statue, they were standing for all these months.
They don't have a right.
But Gandhiji wanted them to be on the floor of the parliament.
Did you as opposition, you never protested in front of the Gandhi statue? It's illegal to do that. This is the problem. This is the problem with
okay, but holding the parliament to ransom is not okay.
I think you've drunk a little bit
Gandhiji
too much of
never
your own
wanted.
Kool-Aid.
The parliament
Let me
should be
tell you
held to
something.
ransom.
He's counting.
Sambhiji, the fact remains that we are an opposition, and our duty is to ensure that you perform well as a government. government, just like you did when you were in the opposition, I'm certain. The fact remains that there's a reason, and I wouldn't use the word intransigent that Professor Sahab used earlier. I would say that we are doing this because there are questions that need to be answered, questions relating to two very senior leaders of your party. I'm certain, Sambhaji, that had we been in your place, you wouldn't have let us off the hook there as well, because we expect the same degree of vigilance from you. The fact remains that without answering those questions, how can we move forward? You're turning the entire democratic process into a farce, and then you're saying that, boss, you guys don't engage with us. Sir, your language has never been one of conciliation and compromise.
My simple submission is, you have every right to oppose us, you have every right to pull us down if we are anywhere. But all these democratic processes should be taking place on the floor of the August Parliament.
Sambhaji, no one agrees with that more than us. Our leaders are the ones. By the way, Arnabji, this is a very important point. Our leaders, Manishankar Ayerji, I believe, was on the standing committee when they gave their report on GST. We put forth our concerns in a very clear and categorical fashion. There are 3 points. We keep repeating those, but they never seem to find mention in your space. All they are told is we are being obstructive. The fact remains, we are not happy with the dispute resolution mechanism you've put in place. We are not happy with the 1% subsidy you're giving to states. I don't want to get technical. I don't want to get technical.
Mr. Khan, I can also get technical with you.
No, I don't want to get technical, Arnabji.
No, I'll get technical. I'll get technical with you. I'm aware of the issues. I'll get technical with you, Mr. Khan.
Please,
the problem is don't confound this country in technicalities. The fact is there is a problem. The basic issue is a divergence of economic approach.
And you
know, one second, Mr. Khan, now मुझे बोलने दीजिए, please. मुझे बोलने दीजिए.
Please go ahead.
देखिए, Mr. Khan, इशू बहुत गंभीर है. इशू अप्रोच की बात है. इशू है कि सोनिया गांधी led Congress party led Manmohan Singh government wanted only one thing: populism, populism, populism. You held the country hostage to populism. You might as well have made the NSC into the finance ministry.
This is totally wrong.
Mr. Khan, let me make the point. Let me make the point to you. Let me make the point to you.
Go ahead.
Let me complete the point. I want Professor to come in. I want Bijan Mishra to come in. The bottom line is India needs reform.
Absolutely.
India needs reform for far too long. And Prasenjit, don't interrupt me. I know you don't like what I say, but I have a democratic right to say it. India needs reform. India does not need a 65,000 crore rupee farm loan waiver, tax cuts, totally.
Yeah, I hope you also allow me to exercise my
% of the GDP. Subsidies over the last 9 years are an important cause for the rise of the revenue deficit. Its impact on economic growth. You have bloated the subsidy bill, the petroleum subsidy, the subsidized cooking gas. The fact of this country needs reform. Now, you don't want reform, you want populism, and when anyone tries to move in parliament, Mohammad Khan, the fact is you will create a lot of noise, you'll say bring it down, then where will the jobs come from?
Opposition,
where will the movement come from?
Opposition for the sake of opposition will deform the reform.
With this government
Mr. Khan, please, Mr. Khan, give me 10 seconds. I request you. Sir, we heard you. Please give me 10 seconds, Mr. Khan. Mr. Khan, please hear me. 10 seconds. Hear me out. I'll give you an important example on the GST. You are wanting to be technical, sir. Please hear us. Please, we have a democratic right. Just, sir, I'll give you an example.
We both agree that there should be reforms, but we differ.
Mohammad Samit is not going to let you speak.
Mohammad Khan, why are you not allowing me to speak?
Okay, let Professor come.
No, I have a very important
He's stopping
point. He was talking about GST. Will I have a very important issue on GST. Opposition for the sake of opposition will only deform the reform. The best example is
our opposition
2003, the Kelkar committee was formed. Thereafter, when 2006, your government introduced the GST on the floor of the parliament, it went through the standing committee. Whatever suggestions were made by the standing committee were incorporated by our government into that bill. But despite that, Mr. Virappa Moily still wanted changes into it. Rightly, Mr. Arun Jaitley has pointed out, a bill should not be a dancing instrument between standing committees.
Now, Professor Santosh Mehrotra. Go ahead, Professor. Professor Mehrotra.
That still need
no, Professor Mehrotra now.
Mr. Khan, you have to let some other people speak. You know, we've been listening to you for a long time. Now,
don't be intolerant of the other point of view, Mr. Khan. Intolerant mat hoiye. Sun lijiye unki baat. Go ahead.
All I want to say, Arnab, is that you put your finger on it. The country desperately needs reform and to move ahead beyond the Bihar election so that the countries recovers the growth rate it used to have in the dream run from 2003-4 to about 2011-12. Now, how are we going to move forward? The first prerequisite in order to push reforms through Parliament is that the BJP is about as conciliatory in Parliament as is humanly possible. But if the intransigence of the opposition continues, then the government has three options. One, of course, it needs to continue to push ahead with parliament-based reform, which is basically GST through a method of conciliation to the extent possible. Point one. Point two, they will have to leave land and labor reform, which are in either the concurrent list or they are in the state list, to the state governments. That's the second strategy that the central government will have to adopt. And the third and final, they will be left with no choice, is that they will have to adopt executive action.
No, that is then at that point, executive action will be seen to be undemocratic.
Well, not
executive action will be seen to be under. Prasenjit comes in.
Arnab, can I say something?
No, Prasenjit, executive action will be seen to be undemocratic. You can't run the country through executive action.
I agree with you.
Parliament is relevant. You can't bypass.
What I think is,
you can't bypass.
But inverted duty structure doesn't require parliamentary approval. Ease of doing business doesn't require parliamentary approval.
So
These are these two things. Parliamentary approval, constitutional amendments.
No,
you're saying bypass.
I think that
There's
the whole
no need
idea.
for executive action enables this possible.
Prasenjit.
Yeah, I think that this whole idea that the only way to actually revive the economy right now is to, pass certain legislations in Parliament, I think is actually a wrong idea. If you're talking about the GST, it is actually not only Parliament. You have to go through state assemblies. It's a, it's a very long drawn process. My point is that there are many other things. Right? Legislation is not the only way to run economic policy. There are so many other things which the government can do. What I am trying to say is that right now there are two major problems confronting the economy. Number one, the government is yet to fulfill its commitment in terms of reviving economic growth. What I am saying is that there cannot be any revival of economic growth, A, without reviving public investment, B, there is a huge debt overhang in the private corporate sector. The government is not even talking about that problem unless and until you address that problem. Your private sector investment is also not going to revive.
So you.
Hear me out first. You are talking about FDI. You know how much of GDP is FDI. How much of GDP is FDI? You know that.
Talking about FDI, Prasenjit.
How much of GDP is FDI? You think that through FDI you will revive investment in our country? You first hear me out. You first hear me out, then you give your
No one is banking upon FDI for the moment.
Who's saying about FDI?
No one's banking upon FDI.
Prasenjit.
Yeah, and the point is
you only
public
said
investment
FDI.
is already
FDI is
reviving.
less than
Please let me
3% of
speak.
India's GDP.
Prasenjit, I was
You
not
think that foreigners are going to
disturbing you.
investment in your
I was
country?
not disturbing
What
you
kind of
while
fool's
you were
paradise you
talking.
live in?
Please
Fool's paradise?
adopt a democratic
No, it's not
means of
right.
debate.
Be
Please
tolerant.
listen to other people. Please listen to other people.
Let me
You continue. You
come in.
continue. You speak, please. Please respond to him.
Listen, the point is no one is talking about increasing FDI. FDI will come when private investment revives. But for private investment to revive, public investment must continue to grow. It has already been increasing over the last 6 to 8 months. So hopefully, if banks become slightly more liquid, there's a possibility that private investment will pick up. So it's a red-head parliament.
Our issue is right now.
Your banks have struggled with huge amounts of non-performing assets, especially your public sector banks.
Arey Baba,
What is the government doing
listen,
about
please.
that?
Baba, listen to other people, Baba.
Prasenjit, listen to someone. No, you have accused. Look at the language you're using. You're saying the professor is living in a fool's paradise because he's talking a little bit about what happens in terms of foreign investment. The fact of the matter is, Prasenjit, we can't live in a fool's paradise where we believe that today global giants, global investors looking at India, they are looking, especially after the Bihar elections, at the impact it has on reform, because the general fear is that the BJP will tread cautiously on reform since it stands politically isolated.
That is why it is very important.
From a consumer
That is why it is very important, Arnab, to make the government understand
What?
that they cannot be influenced by political considerations.
Such as?
They have to go ahead with reforms in a manner that the citizens start believing, the investors, the private sector, the investments all start having faith in the system that it is working. Today, you see what is happening is government is very cautious. They are always very scared that how they would going to move forward. Bills are not getting passed. Parliament is not functioning. The effectiveness of the parliamentarians is not coming. To the benefit of the citizens. Everybody is scared.
And
now what we need to bring in is why these watchdogs, why these so-called watchdogs, the opposition, they need to understand that if they don't deliberate in a very effective manner within the parliament, bring in solutions, make the government move, look at reforms taking place, which will reach the benefits to the people.
Blaming the opposition for what?
You all are all the time. You are all the time.
Months in our country, you have all kinds of people being killed in our country in the name of religion. You don't think that is
the point is
what is Mr. Prasenjit saying? Look at him. He's already finding an excuse to stall the parliament.
What bizarre
logic
I'm hearing.
The recipe they're cooking, they've already started cooking the recipe to stall the parliament. This is absolutely wrong.
Absolutely.
Please don't malign the country's name. Please don't, for God's sake.
I am not a parliamentarian and I don't determine what opposition parties do in parliament.
Today he has said, I do not see this as a setback to the economy at all. The finance minister does not see the Bihar election result as a setback to the economy. I want to assure you all, the economy is going to grow, reforms are going to come, but you have to be good
that you don't think is affecting the investment climate in the country.
Opposition, both my friends from Congress and the left, they have to be tolerant. They have to be tolerant.
Can I come down to brass tacks now?
Yes.
Again, Prasenjit and
the Congress has to be become tolerant.
Will Mohammad Khan and Prasenjit?
Only the RSS and the BJP at the epitome and the embodiment of tolerance in our country.
Prasenjit, listen, as a great evangelist of tolerance, give me 5 minutes of your tolerance. Tolerate me for 5 minutes. Mohammad Khan and Prasenjit, 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I'm not asking for too much. Okay, thank you very much. Now, I will not even take 5 minutes. I have a simple question is this. Prasenjit and Mohammad Khan, stop linking politics with economics.
Correct.
It's a basic point. Now, this tolerance debate, on which there are divided opinions anyway, and there are a lot of people who believe that this whole tolerance lobby, is very tolerant of all excesses when the Congress party is in power, supported by the left. That time they are extremely tolerant, but they are getting worried about tolerant issues when the BJP is in power, but I'm not going there. Why are you linking that to economics? This parliament session and the governance ahead needs to be focused on only one thing, getting the economy on the road. Right? It is not time for you, Prasenjit, to bring up the tolerance debate in the context of hard economics. You can't do that. No, you can't do that. There's nothing to laugh about it. You need to understand and behave a little responsibly for once. All of you need to separate politics from economics, for God's sake. And by the way, to the Congress party, I only wanted, listen, Prasenjit, I wanted, how much time did I take? I said, give me 5 minutes of your tolerance. See, in 1.5 minutes, you became intolerant.
Now can I speak?
Now, I have one question to the Congress party, which you are backing nowadays. Nowadays, you back the Congress party, Prasenjit. Listen to me. Now, my question to the Congress party is, since you have been asking the government to take the concerns, since you have been doing. No, my question to Prasenjit, one question to Congress. Since you've been asking the government to take the concerns of intolerance voiced by academics, filmmakers and historians very seriously, will you listen to the concerns expressed by leading business houses and voices and industrialists who have signed an online petition? There are 15,000 people, not just business houses. A lot of citizens have signed the petition, which says that both the houses of parliament should be allowed to function, to debate and to legislate on serious proposals.
Absolutely.
Or are you going to hold governance? No, if you're going to, please tell us today, if you're going to hold governance hostage to politics, let's say it. Right? Professor, should we say it?
Of course.
If that's going to happen, let's say it. But Bijon Mishra, let there be a declaration. Let people vote. Let people decide. This country's economy is going to be held hostage to this country's politics.
Absolutely.
Right? Let it be said.
Hasn't this gone on
Professor.
Arnab, this has gone on for too long. How can we continue? Our demographic dividend will be gone. The Chinese are racing ahead. We will become like the Latin American economies in the doldrums doldrums for a 2-decade
You are
period.
contradicting what the BJP spokesperson is saying. The BJP spokesperson.
Well, why are you assuming, sir, that I'm here to support what the BJP
He
is
is
saying?
showing you the mirror.
What's making you
That's what
assume?
you wish. The professor is showing you the mirror. That
Yeah.
this is what your
What
intentions
absurdity.
are.
What
Your
absurdity.
intentions are to make this country into a Latin American country.
I mean,
where the economy falls.
No, Professor, I think Professor is responding to you, Prasenjit.
Pathetic how low the level of the debate you are taking it to.
Prasenjit.
How dare you impute motives here? How dare you?
No, and that's true. You see, you can't take
the level of debate. Then I will simply say that
I thought that's what I was attempting to do, sir.
I thought that an atmosphere of peace is one that is compatible with an atmosphere in which investment will be
Not
drawn
peaceful
towards
in the
India.
debate, not
And therefore, there is no
listening to us.
linking of
Just imagine what you're
politics
doing in the
to
parliament.
economic reforms. Insofar as
Can I suggest something,
Sambitji,
Arnab?
insofar as
Yes,
economic
sir.
reforms are concerned,
Go ahead,
we are
Sambit.
with you. We stand with you. We have
No,
divergence only in three.
please don't
That is all we are
grandstand in
saying.
the news hour
That is all
tonight
we are
and then do something different
So
on the floor of the parliament tomorrow.
let
These
the
are two
parliament
separate things.
function.
All there are.
Bejon, I have
let
a
all the
simple-
bills get passed.
Bejon, I just have a simple suggestion for my two good friends from the opposition. Sir, I have a suggestion for you. Please be tolerant.
Go ahead.
Please be tolerant, sir. I have heard you. Number one, function, debate and legislate.
Yeah.
This should be the way the parliament should function. And secondly, congratulations to you, sir. You have won in Bihar and I should be with a magnanimous heart to congratulate you. You have done very well. But the issue is, this Bihar election should not give you the negative energy to stall the parliament. Rather, it should revigorate you with positive energy to see to it that the country moves ahead. Hand in hand, together, the country should move ahead. That should be the aim. We are all out for development of this country. The Prime Minister is relentlessly working for a growing economy of this country, and for the sake of opposition, the opposition should not be united. For the sake of opposition, the opposition should not oppose. That's all we are suggesting.
No, the question is...
Sambitji, we welcome what you're saying. In fact, yesterday our leader said the exact same thing. Many of our leaders, I remember Kapil Sibal ji and Manish Tiwari ji and Randeep Surjewala ji all came out and said that this is very good. Now we hope that the Prime Minister...
No, but Rahul Gandhi was saying गाड़ी से बाहर निकाल के फेंक देंगे.
देखिए,
No, but Rahul Gandhi said that गाड़ी से बाहर निकाल के फेंक देंगे.
Who you're quoting? Rahul ji said something.
No, Rahul Gandhi. Who? Rahul Gandhi is a who now?
I'm saying
No, that is Sri Rahul Gandhi, the
he
Vice
said it.
President
Called
of
upon the Prime
Congress.
Minister
He
to
said
focus
that
on
Prime
work.
Minister को गाड़ी से बाहर निकाल के फेंक देंगे. That was the kind of language, sir. I'm so sorry to state this. Yes, Mr. Chidambaram may have spoken contrary to what Rahul Gandhi stated, but Rahul ji spoke this exact words. He said that गाड़ी से बाहर निकाल के फेंक देंगे. Do you justify the statement?
Of course.
No, sir, do you justify? Because after all, it is not Chidambaram ji or Kapil Sibal who would be on the parliament showing the way. It is Rahul Gandhi who will be dictating what the Congress does in the floor of parliament. So when Rahul Gandhi ji says that गाड़ी से बाहर निकाल के फेंक देंगे, is he suggesting reconciliation? Is he suggesting support? Or does he mean to say opposition for the sake of opposition is a big question.
Why are you cherry picking things that I don't even know exist?
No,
And I will
you don't know
respond
it,
to
then
your
you are
baiting.
then I'm sorry
If I
to
may
say,
ask.
sir, you should have read your Vice President's
Sambitji,
statement.
if I
I would request Arnab, please show them the bite where Rahul Gandhi shows गाड़ी से बाहर निकाल के फेंक देंगे.
And Sambitji, may I say something? The fact is, in the opening half of your statement, there was nothing that we could find error with. Of course, we as Parliament must function together and we must move towards a common goal. Undoubtedly, there can be no two views about that. But the fact is, there are certain unresolved issues. Because see, we are not just the government of corporates.
Unresolved
You are not just the
issues
government
are
of
being
corporates.
resolved on
You
the
are
floor
not
of
just the
parliament,
government of
not on
corporates.
streets.
There are allegations against two of your very senior leaders, Sambitji. You can try and whitewash them as much as you want. You can try and give them a white berth as much as you want. But we would be remiss in our role as opposition if we did not raise those. We are not just the opposition of the corporates. We are the
They were ready to give statement on the floor of the parliament. Sushma ji was ready to speak on the floor of the parliament. She spoke on the floor of the parliament. 30 minutes of her speech devastated all of you. And you did not want to debate that. No. On the floor of the parliament, debate every issue, raise questions. If we do not answer you satisfactorily.
No, watch. Professor Mehrotra.
Mr. Khan, very simple, direct question to you. Would the Congress and the opposition enable the GST to pass through Rajya Sabha?
Professor Sahab, I'm certain you know that the authorship of the original GST bill rests with us. It is a very proud creation of ours, and of course we would want it to see the light
Please
of
answer
day.
the question.
I am answering your question.
No, you need to commit.
But,
You see,
sir, let
you
me
need
tell you
to be
something.
part.
We are
You
not
need to
simply
commit.
accountable. We are
You
not
see,
simply accountable to the
as a
corporates of India.
responsible
We are accountable to
opposition.
the people of India. And
So
the people
you-
of India
so
require
that's
us to be
not answering the
vigilant.
people of-
We cannot
people of
step back
India
and say,
wants
oh, this
reforms.
issue we'll allow to
People-
pass,
people
but this
of
issue we'll
India-
stand with. Sir, we can't
No,
take
one
it
second.
too.
Since
They will stand with
we are
it.
talking about the
Please
people
go
of
ahead. He
India,
said that they will
since
stand
we are
with it,
talking
yes.
about the people of India, I wrap up by asking this question to Bijon Mishra, and he can take it forward.
You see,
how
the
do the people of India benefit if prices go up? How do the people of India
Exactly.
benefit if
I
manufactured
believe the
goods,
people have
utensils?
answered that
No, utensils. People of India can't afford utensils, clothes, electronics, shoes. How do the people of India benefit if there are no
Absolutely
bridges
correct.
and roads? If
So
foreign
people of India-
foreign investment in
Should be asked that
infrastructure goes down, how do the people of India benefit if all of this process eventually ensures that jobs are not available?
Correct.
Now, what will happen is, please tell the people of India that we want revenge, and in our quest for revenge, we do
will
not care
not
today
compromise.
if there are no jobs, if there are no,
This is
if things
totally
go out of reach,
unacceptable.
if
you are blaming the
revenge.
opposition for all this.
No,
Who is responsible
but
to
then
deliver on these things? It is the government.
Prasenjit,
So you should allow the government to function.
Prasenjit, I'm saying separate your politics from an economics, for God's sake.
Correct.
What's wrong?
That is the issue. The politics
What
should
is
not be
separating
brought
economics
within
and
governance.
politics? I don't know what
Separate
you're
it.
saying.
You have to.
Who is
no, you
responsible
have.
for
You
controlling
cannot
prices?
mix.
Opposition?
Several intellectuals.
Who
As
is
an
responsible
opposition-
on economic growth? The opposition?
As an opposition, you have to make sure. You have to make sure that the reforms take
all
place.
reforms you are not supporting
I
the
think that
government. on.
You have to
got
make
the
sure.
For
economics and
God's sake,
politics wrong.
let's reach a consensus in the debate
What you are
today at
arguing
least.
is both
And let
the
me
plan
tell
of
you,
point
Mr.
of view of
Khan,
economics
be
as well as
tolerant to
politics
growth.
is all wrong.
You may be intolerant.
No.
You may be intolerant
cannot bring in
towards
politics.
Bharatiya Janata
The
Party,
BJP is a
but
frustrated
please be
lot.
tolerant to growth.
BJP is
You
a
have to be
frustrated
tolerant
lot.
to growth
They have
if
lost
you are a
the
party
elections.
which
People
wants
are
good of the
seeing
country.
through their bluff, and now they are blaming the opposition for their own failures. They are
What
complete
failures?
frustrated lot. basically.
What failures?
No,
What failures,
can be
Mr.
asked
Khan?
Sambit-
What
Sambit and
failures?
Prasenjit.
The country has
Failures
moved
to
ahead of
deliver
China
on
as far as the
promises.
growth
You
is
are saying all
concerned.
kinds
We
of
have
things.
ramped up in
You
the
will
ease
bring
of
down
doing
prices.
business.
You will
We have-
bring
we
turnaround
have-
the
we have
economy.
killed
You will
corruption in the
bring
way that we have reduced
thousands of
corruption
crores of
in
investment. There will be digital India, this, that, nonsense.
India.
Now all that bluff has been called.
Oh, all these are
Where those?
nonsense.
That is investment.
Look at the selection
Prices
of
have
words.
not come down.
Look at the
People
selection
are
of
from Har
words.
Har Modi, they are
All
saying
these
Har
are
Har Modi.
nonsense.
So your bluff has been called. So now you are turning the entire burden on the opposition. That as if the opposition is
No,
responsible.
we are not
You are
turning
when
any
you are in the
burden to
government,
the
it is your
opposition.
responsibility
The
to check
opposition
prices.
should oppose,
Why have you
but
failed
not
to check
just for the
prices?
sake of
Price
opposition.
rise.
The
Why have you
opposition should
failed
be
to deliver on
tolerant towards
economic
growth
growth?
of the country.
Why have you failed to
It should not only
deliver on
criticize
investments?
economics.
In infrastructure, in industry. It is your failure.
Prasenjit, last question, please. Okay, since you're taking a very high moral ground, there are 4.7 million children who lose out on their childhood and the basic rights of education and livelihood. One of the bills pending is the prohibition of child labor bill. It has not been passed. Now, tell me, please, with this kind of a situation, what would you say to one of the 4.6 million child laborers in India? What would you say? You'd say we are very responsible and hence we are ensuring don't have the basic rights of an education?
Or no, I am not a parliamentarian. I am not speaking on behalf of the opposition.
you have to come out saying it clearly.
You tell me now, Prasenjit, I put that burden onto you. I put that burden to you. There is a
No, but
child
why?
working
I am
in
not even a
I am putting the
parliamentarian.
burden to you because
I am just giving
you
my
said
opinion
no,
as an
because you've
economist.
said no,
You-
Prasenjit,
you wanted to
I
know
put
my
that burden
views.
to
My
you if you
point
care to
is,
listen
for
because
the
if there is
economic
a child
problems of
working
the
in an
day, it is
automobile
the
workshop,
government which is
if
to be
there is
held
a child
accountable.
working in a
You
bill
held the
making
Congress
factory,
government accountable.
if there is a
Now you
child,
are-
for God's
you are
sake,
shying away
Prasenjit,
from holding the BJP
if there is
government
a child
accountable.
working in a
You are putting the
carpet
burden
weaving
onto the
industry,
opposition, which
if
is
there
most
is a
unfair.
child working in the
Which is most
Palom
unfair.
industry,
It is the job of the government to rule the country, not
what
the
is
opposition.
unfair? What is unfair? Who did not let that bill be passed? Who stopped that bill from being passed?
And
Be
why is
fair
it
now.
pending? Why is it pending before the parliament? I mean, we must understand why such bills are pending in the parliament when it is such an important issue to be addressed
An
to.
ordinance.
Okay.
An instrument that they have become so accustomed to utilizing so frequently.
Okay,
I think
now,
it should be
gentlemen.
worthwhile use for once.
Well, I think beyond the point, my only point of disagreement with Prasenjit is, and with some of the other members on the panel, you're going to have to separate your politics from an economics.
Correct.
If you don't do so, you run the peril of an economy which will sputter and then fail. And I think everyone agrees with me, none of us whichever political party wants to see the economy of this country fail. Nobody will gain then. Thank you very much
Of
for joining me
course.
on this debate.
My
on News
only
at Night.
difference
Of course.
Including the government.
No,
Including the
nation,
government.
nation
You are
first,
shielding the
party
government
next,
also has to be
self-last.
Okay, thank you very
From
much for
any kind
joining
of
me on debate
political
number
interference.
1 on the News Hour tonight. Thank you.